ground, of course, leading his country for a record 21st time. And everyone with a British Union Jack in their hand or in their hearts has turned up tonight expecting a British victory, and that is something that we haven't been able to say for quite some time. There is such expectation on the shoulders of this team this evening. If they beat New Zealand, it'll be 1-1. They will receive the Albert Baskerville Trophy, which the Rugby Football League commissioned for this series. Let's check the names of the men who'll wear the red, white and blue of the British Lions. Fullback again is Gary Connolly, bringing the curtain down on a magnificent rugby league career tonight. Leon Price, Martin Gleeson, Keith Senior and Lee Gilmore, again the three quarters. It's Paul Sculthorpe, fully fit, alongside Paul Deacon at scrum half. And in the forwards is where they make a change, or two. Stuart Fielden, James Lowes and Barry McDermott returns. Adrian Morley is back after illness to partner Andrew Farrell, the captain, in the second row. And it's Mike Forshaw at loose forward. And on the bench, Danny Orr, Jamie Peacock, Paul Anderson and Richard Horn of Hull. The coach is David Waite, of course. Now let's take a peek at the way the New Zealanders line up. They've had their problems this week. David Vailicki fills in for the injured Robbie Paul at fullback. Henry Farfili, Nigel Vangan are there. But there is, as Chris Warren said, the story of the week. Sean Hoppy out of retirement and will play for his country in the centres alongside Francis Melly. Lance O'Hire is at standoff. I understand he will take over the kicking duties tonight from Richard Swain, who has been a bit off key with the boot, and it's Stacey Jones, the captain and scrum half, still the danger man. Forwards, Jerry Siusiu, Richard Swain, Paul Rahihi. Owen Guttenbeil moves to the second row to cover for the fact that Richard Kearney is home on family business. Ruben Wickie in the second row, and Monty Beetham plays at loose forward. Quite a bench though. Tony Pulatuya, David Solomona, Logan Swan and also Ali Lauatiti. Coach Gary Freeman. Well, the presentation party has gone along the two sets of players, and just now Lawrence Robinson is singing Jerusalem to the crowd here at the JJB Stadium. We will shortly have the national anthems. We will shortly be underway for this third and final Don't Drink Drive test. Some very tense faces in that British lineup. They know, I think, that they are under pressure. Not quite favourites. I think despite the fact that New Zealand have made a couple of changes and one or two of them having been forced upon them, they remain the favourites. But what a night for this young man, Sean Hoppy. Retired from St Helens at the end of the year, and now he will take part in his country's national anthem. Rihanna Appiah with the New Zealand national anthem. And quite a bit of support inside the JJB Stadium for those Kiwis as well. Now the national anthem will be sung by Lawrence Robinson. Good on you, Phil Clark, leading the way and singing with gusto, the Great Britain team manager. And next we will have, of course, Clarkie alongside us for the World Club Championship, which will begin the 2003 season here on Sky Sports. But all that's in the future. What's to come now is arguably the most vital 80 minutes that Great Britain International Rugby League has seen for many, many a long day. Now this is a slight change of plan. Normally they just simply line up and perform the haka. One or two last words of encouragement. Now here they come, and the British team will have to face this haka for the very last time, and they will perform the haka tonight without Stephen Kearney, who usually takes the lead. The challenge has been thrown down. Gary Connolly bringing down that curtain on his rugby league career at the age of 31. This is his 29th Test cap. He is yet to score for his country. Steve, what price tonight breaking the duck?
Yeah, I feel that Great Britain have a wonderful opportunity. As long as this fella in charge, Stephen Clark, gives both sides the opportunity to play outstanding rugby league football. In other words, take them back the required 10. Packed house, game on.
Away we go, Deacon's kick off. And New Zealanders will have first use of the football in this third test, and that's Paul Rahihi driving it in and met by Stuart Fielden. Well, a big challenge for both these nations.
So important that the forwards really do battle against the Kiwi pack. They've got to try to control them, and you can see they're quickly out of the blocks.
Monty Beethan almost through, but hauled down by the Great Britain captain. And that's a big collision between Andy Farrell and Barry McDermott, I beg your pardon, and Jerry Siu and Stuart Fielden as well.
Big game expected from Barry McDermott. He realises when he gets to international level, he doesn't hit the high spots that we see in Super League week in and week out. He wants a big one tonight.
And what we saw, of course, in that first test was the sad sight of Barry McDermott uncharacteristically dropping the ball. First tackle, second half. That set the platform for the Kiwis to get the roll on.
Oh, that's going to be a penalty, messing around.
Get the first penalty, Great Britain. This has been a feature of this test series.
Well, this is wonderful play by the official Stephen Clark. It has been a bit of a blot on this particular tour, as Eddie has just mentioned. And Gary Freeman, I'm sure, is getting the message down saying, listen, the official knows about it. Let's get off quickly. They cannot afford, Eddie, to keep giving Great Britain so much possession, especially in the opening 10 minutes.
Well, the phrase that Stephen Clark uses, the dominant tackle. Now, that is a form of rugby league that they play in the Southern Hemisphere. The Kiwis, then, should really be used to it.
Well, you think so, but I think that the slower grounds over here, Eddie, has made a little bit of an impact for them. And it'll be interesting to see how the Kiwis handle the fact that when they first came here, they were offloading the ball willy-nilly. There were a lot more, shall we say,
Deacon.
Positive.
Deacon, what a great break. Hauled down by Paul Rahihi.
I'm just saying they were a lot more composed in that draw last week. Oh, good opportunity. Forshaw has knocked on. There was a huge gap there, much to the disgust of the coach, David Way. Wonderful effort there, and the man on the inside, Forshaw, puts it down. He knows it. Great run from Paul Deacon. It's obvious that Waite has said to Deacon, forget about the kicking game early, take this defence on.
Stacey Jones spins the ball to Nigel Vangenaar, and Mike Forshaw and also Adrian Morley there very quickly to stop the danger from Vangenaar. And this now is Ruben Wiki. Such a danger man, came back to the side last week, scored a try. Fielden doing well at marker, helped out by McDermott, and also there James Lowes. They now concede the penalty, Great Britain.
He's making his mark, the Australian referee, and rightly so. The message has got out now to both sides, and it was completed all over the top there. Stuart Fielden.
Jerry Siu for the Kiwis. Big, strong, hard man up front for the New Zealanders. From the New Zealand Warriors Club, as so many of these New Zealand Test players are. And that was almost an opportunity there for Wiki again. It's now with Stacey Jones. Pops it back to Monty Beetham. Oh, big hit there by McDermott.
Over the top. Could have been penalised for it.
And Beetham is a bit groggy. And that's a drive in by Rahihi, met by James Lowes. Here now is Stacey Jones. Misses out the prop and finds Hohaya. It's Guttenbeil. And Guttenbeil is dropped to the ground on the last tackle by the British defence. Hohaya at dummy half. Here is Stacey Jones. Here's a test early for Leon Price. Vital for the young man's confidence. Oh, well, it was all right. It came off for him. Sculthorpe was there to tidy up.
Well, a little bit dodgy there, Price. Good job that Sculthorpe read the situation extremely well. It is important as well. They'll pepper that guy, no doubt about it. And also Lee Gilmore will have plenty to do tonight. But it's important that a lot of players, as we saw on that occasion, Sculthorpe going back and giving them support and helping them out.
Sculthorpe thinking about a little pass round the corner, instead took the tackle from Guttenbeil and Wiki. Noticed early, by the way, that Sean Hoppy has moved out to the wing. This is the last tackle here for Great Britain, by the way. He was named in the centre, but Hoppy is playing on the left wing for the New Zealanders. This now is Farfili on the right. Hoppy's over the other side. Vailecki is between them. And this is Farfili running flat. Sculthorpe gets to him. Good tackle with Gleeson.
Well, you just mentioned that switch there, but I think everybody at this ground knew that Sean Hoppy hasn't played much in the centres himself.
There he is, Hoppy.
Was going to be switched out onto the wing anyway, Eddie.
This is Farfili now. Just over the halfway line. Good drive forward by Richard Swain, the hooker. And Barry McDermott with the tackle. It's Stacey Jones. Guttenbeil to drive it forward. Farrell is there, so too senior. Guttenbeil trying to offload the British captain and centre. They bring him down. Hohaya to Stacey Jones. Here is the second one for Leon Price to deal with. You can tell what the game plan is here. That's been knocked forward. It's the turnover.
He's going to be in for a busy night, that is for sure, Leon. And it didn't look all that comfortable, did he?
Not convincing at all.
No.
That's one!
And that does spell disaster, or danger at least anyway, for the Great Britain camp. Gary Freeman, obviously he's done his homework.
This is Farrell now, on home turf, of course.
Interesting to see how Farrell's been utilised more as a prop forward. He's done that on 2 occasions, come back on the angle. He has played on the first and second test out wide in the centres.
Another penalty against the Kiwis, lifting the ankle in the tackle.
No doubt about it, second row, Guttenbeil. Right for it.
Wait till I give you the mark. He's in front of you, you could lose.
And once again, the Australian referee, Stephen Clark, saying, look, you will tap the ball when I'm ready.
When he gives you the mark, or where he gives Great Britain or New Zealand the mark, that's when the penalty can be taken. So that is another anomaly really from Super League, because they take very quick tap penalties in the Super League.
International rules, Eddie.
Well, there have been 1 or 2 rule changes announced this week by the Rugby League Council that will bring the game in this country into line with the internationals. More of that, I'm sure, next season. For now, this is McDermott. A great offload to James Lowe's, trying to dance away from Vialicki. Monty Beetham in there as well. Deacon, quick play the ball for Great Britain. Vital. Sculthorpe, great pass to Morley.
What a tackle from Stacey Jones it had to be. If he just missed on that occasion, Morley would have gone over.
Here's a chance here now for Sculthorpe.
Through the dummy, twisted round.
Just couldn't get it down. Connolly at dummy half. Back it goes to Deacon. Britain are lined up down the left. It's with Farrell. Long pass to Senior. And Senior will get in. First try for Great Britain. Keith Senior. He hasn't scored for Great Britain since the first test against New Zealand 4 years ago. Keith Senior has just broken his duck.
Wonderful play by the British boys. They took it tight on down that right-hand side. We saw Sculthorpe throw the dummy, twisting to the corner, and two wonderful long passes. Caught the sliding defence of the Kiwis. That's the first one from Lowe's, then Deacon, and Farrell, he misses out two. The winger had gone for it. He was left 3-on-1. And that's the third occasion in this test series that the Kiwis have been caught out wide. Fafili had left his mark, and when you have 3-on-1, Senior says, I'm taking it. And the crowd have gone bananas here, and rightly so. What a start for the Great Britain side.
His 14th cap, his third try for his country, Keith Senior of the Leeds Rhinos. Wonderful start for Britain, and it will be even better if Farrell can add the extras here. Many felt that Farrell was man of the match last week. He was cool under pressure to land that penalty that levelled the game. 7 from 8 attempts in this series so far. First kick of the night for Farrell. Home turf, he knows the angles. He's missed it. 4-0.
Well played. See how the dummy runner's coming back on the inside. You can see Vangenaar has gone out of position. He went for the intercept. Nothing that the winger Fafili could do about that. He was left in no man's land, and it was brought about by the fact that Vangenaar took the gamble. It didn't pay off. Did for that guy.
Well, the David Waite era began with back-to-back wins against France and Australia, but they will not wish to emulate the 6 games without a win that Britain had between 1997 and 2001.
Well, that should have been a flop there. Rahihi, well, he came in so late. And the one thing that really did impress me about the British game last week, Eddie, in that second test, is that normally, we've said it time and time again, that often we capitulate in the final quarter. We didn't. It was the Kiwis that looked as though they were getting tired.
Wiki then could have been penalised for holding down. This is Farrell, and the break from Lowe's.
Great support. Farrell's up for this one. So's Jimmy. And he's milked that one as Jimmy. The inexperience of the standoff. O'Hare.
Well, the referee wants a word with O'Hare and the New Zealand captain, Stacey Jones.
But I just have a funny feeling that James Lowe's has milked this. See how he just crawled away and then pulled it away and pushed him. In fact, Lowe's could very well have been penalised himself for lashing out with the left elbow.
No more warnings. The next bloke, yellow card. Go. No, it is not. Stacey, do you want to argue or use it now? I'm telling you, the next bloke's going.
Well, there it is. The warning is clear. Next one goes to the sin bin, and James Lowe's the most experienced man on the field, the oldest man on the field, and he sucked the youngster in.
Well, he did have a second little crawl on it, but the swinging arm just indicated to it. As you say, he's been around a while. He had a super game last week. They certainly looked a lot more confident around the play the ball area. Okay, he took the wrong option with only seconds remaining that could have maybe gone for the field goal, but he had a big game, and we need one from him tonight as well.
Referee now is policing the play the ball area, and this is Sculthorpe, and he's shouting to the New Zealand players. He's doing his best for them to prevent a yellow card. This now is Connolly, goes wide to Martin Gleeson, and there are 4 Kiwis there to bring Gleeson down. Beetham gets to his feet quickly. Leon Price, Paul Sculthorpe. Here is Deacon. It comes wide again to Farrell. Farrell will take them on once more.
He needed someone coming back on the inside, trailing him to try to stop the sliding defence. There was no one there.
Deacon with a little dab over the top, a great rush, and Connolly leading the way, and so too Paul Sculthorpe. And there was no way there that Bielicki could get out of trouble.
He's had a problem in that position. Played most of the games in the early part of the tour at full back, and then Gary Freeman switched him. Robbie Paul, of course, injured.
And Britain hunting there in a pack. There's about half a dozen white jerseys round Bielicki. Nowhere for him to go.
Well, to be fair, I don't think Bielicki is a regular full-back, in my opinion. He's better off in the centres, and he should be peppered throughout this game with a little kick like that we've just seen from Deacon. More of the same.
And this now is Barry McDermott. It takes three to bring him down. Gary Freeman, Robbie Paul alongside him.
Lost it.
Lost the ball. Barry McDermott losing the ball.
Kiwi feet loose. Lost control of the ball. Kiwi feet loose. Didn't play it, Barry.
Well, he did. He didn't have a chance to play correctly. Not all over him. He could have been penalised as well, but you can see there just a trailing arm. He's got to regain his feet. And a couple of incidents there that Stephen Clark could have picked up on one anyway. Didn't play correctly.
12 and a half minutes of this last test gone. 4-0 to Great Britain, and I know that we're being listened to and watched intently in Australia and New Zealand. And Steve-O, you were on New Zealand radio this week, I understand. They're laughing at us down there. We're the Morecambe and Wise.
Yeah, they say that we're biased.
Never.
We call it as we see it, folks.
Yeah, so long as Great Britain win. This is Stacey Jones. Here now is the second row, Aaron Gutenbiel.
You may say that.
I tell you something, this is a magnificent New Zealand side. If Great Britain do win, they will deserve this Albert Baskerville trophy. That's a high-hanging kick. Connolly took it well. Beetham was hunting him.
Plenty of height on that, and you can see the loose forward just wrapped up the full back. Yeah, I have to agree with Eddie that this Kiwi side is one of the best I've seen.
Yes, and Ron, you think that they are so cruelly hit by injury. I know that Britain have got players missing as well, but the New Zealanders are really almost running on empty. They've got a test against France to play next weekend just to finich their tour of Europe. It's been a long, long time for them, and they'll be happy to get home for Christmas.
Certainly will. I mentioned in the start of the second test that Great Britain really have to start picking out two players to run at throughout this evening. That's the two halfback. They're the smallest players on the Kiwi side, and the big fellas like Farrell, Sculthorpe and Morley, Forshaw, they've got to be running at those two halfbacks.
By the way, if they're calling us Morecambe and Wise in the Southern Hemisphere, that is a huge compliment as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I'm the wise one.
This is Bielicki again, 10 metres inside his own half of the field. And here now is Rahihi.
That's 4! Just short of the line.
He can be the Morecambe Rock. Edward.
Swain. Oh, that looked a bit forward.
He delayed it, and touch judge has picked it. Crowd very quick to assist.
It was. Gutenbiel, one of the success stories of this tour.
And so there's the man that passed the ball, Richard Swain. He really has impressed me.
Paul Anderson, anxious to get on, waiting to be introduced.
They're
There's the British management team. Phil Clark on the left, Brian Noble, and in between them is David Waite, of course. A real push and a shove at this scrum.
Pack it properly, pack it in, Barry!
8 Bradford Bulls in the 17 for Great Britain.
Barry, you listen to me. Cool it.
It's Barry McDermott, I think.
Stephen Clark saying Barry, cool it.
Ball is out. And here is Mike Forshaw, tackled by Beetham.
Pretty high as well. Forshaw went straight into the forearm.
Lowe's will come this way. Here is Gary Connolly. Oh, he just couldn't get the ball away to Andrew Farrell.
Good work from Stacey Jones there.
Lee Gilmore now. And Gilmore has seen a gap. And Gilmore will go for the gap. Lee Gilmore! What a tackle! What a wonderful tackle there by Bielicki. Could have been a penalty. Here is Senior again. Bielicki with a try-saver.
We've got to make it count. Gilmore's opened them up. Quick play the ball, that's what we need.
But Lowe's is wrapped up.
Screaming for it. Use the big fella. Is it Anderson? He's out wide.
Sculthorpe dabs it through. Knock on behind the line. drop out.
Well, I've said he has a problem, but really we should have done more with that. It's only a little one, well spotted by the Australian referee, Clark. But this is a break from Gilmore. Good work. He did the right thing, didn't panic, kept hold of the ball. He knew that possession is so vital. It's a good tackle by Vailiki, but again, you have to cast doubt on the Kiwi fullback. But what a great break from that fella.
Lee Gilmore on a short drop out, and Senior has it for Great Britain 20 metres away. Here's a golden opportunity. That's a big hit. Solomona's on. And this is Lowe's. Now it's with Sculthorpe. And here goes Anderson! Anderson! So close!
Beautiful inside pass.
First tackle, or first charge anyway, from Anderson. Losing a bit of momentum there, Great Britain. This is Senior now, 10 metres away. Oh, a real porridge.
Not the best pass. That'll be the turnover. It was on the last. Well, we had the Kiwis on the rack, and they really should have put them away.
It wasn't on the last, Steve. It was a big error from James Lowe's. He just knocked it forward with his foot on his third tackle. Quick play of the ball they were going through, and it just, came off his boot.
Oh, and then he got a finger, yeah. Played the advantage.
Well, a pretty good start from Great Britain. Ahead 4-0. I just wonder what Sean McRae's making of it all.
Oh, it's been an excellent start, Eddie. I think if you look at the technicalities in the game, Great Britain have got it around the ruck. The way they're playing the ball, their body position and the speed of the play of the ball is forcing New Zealand into trying to hold down, and that of course has cost at least 3 penalties in the Great Britain 30-40 metre zone, which has got them out of trouble. And it hasn't given New Zealand the opportunity to put any pressure on the Great Britain side down in the Great Britain red zone. Great Britain, of course, need now to convert some of this pressure into points. They've gone close on a number of occasions, but I just get a feeling that something's around the corner.
Well, here's the 8th break. Oh, and it was good tracking back again by Stacey Jones on Gleeson.
He's got to be sent to the sin bin on that. Jones was all over him.
Deacon wide to Farrell, and behind everybody.
Well, it was a big problem the last 10 minutes last week. Silly passing, panicking. But that should have been a penalty. Stacey Jones was all over the centre, Martin Gleeson.
This was the break from Sculthorpe. Break number 8 for Great Britain, only 1 for the New Zealanders.
Now watch this. He wants to get on with it. Now what on earth is that? He's still hanging on to him. He's looking to get away with it. The experience showing on Stacey Jones. He's already warned the Kiwis, as Stephen Clark, the official.
Hold it in there, Great Britain. Hold it in. Out.
The ball is out, says the referee, so the scrum can break. Pohaya to Vailiki, his opposite number Gary Connolly, and Paul Sculthorpe there to bring the full back down. Pohaya again, and this now is Logan Swan.
Good work from the English defence. They're moving in on the angle. They're forcing the Kiwis into one-out football most of the time.
But they've had so much possession, they've made so many breaks, yet they're only 4 points up. It is a problem. It's a problem. And it's even more of a problem when people like Tony Puletuya are on the field.
Well, we made 7 clean breaks, and we really should have more than 4 points on the board.
Exactly. Oh, Stacey Jones. The man's human after all.
No advantage. 10 metres forward, he'll bring it back for the scrum down.
Great Britain, feet loose.
The one good thing about this British defence is that they're not taking the dummy from this fella. He's so lethal.
I must say, Steve, the way that Great Britain have come stronger as this series goes on. We've got the Australians due over next year. Surely the powers that be will realise that Britain need a couple of warm-up matches before the Ashes series gets underway next year.
Well, sometimes common sense just gets thrown out of the window,
well, let's hope not this time.
Yeah, well, if we keep banging away, we might convince them. Ball is through!
He was, and it was a tackle from Logan Swan that halted him. Here is Paul Anderson. Solomona's there.
This is really taking it out of the Kiwi defence as well.
Now then, Farrell finds Forshaw. Big hit by Vanganar.
Didn't really want that. Forshaw thought he was going to be the dummy runner.
Get it up. Yeah, he was trying
Farrell.
to do that.
Deacon. Sculthorpe steps inside almost by Logan Swan. Was hit pretty hard. Deacon. Chip over the top. Now then, something here for Leon Price to chase. Good take. Great take by Sean Hoppy.
Stood his ground well, eyes on the football at all time.
Go!
But that's the type of tactics that's going to unnerve any side. We saw in the early part of this game that the Kiwis, they peppered the winger Leon Price, and we've got to do exactly the same thing.
This is Solomona. You saw a couple of instances there where Sean Hoppy was involved in the play for the Kiwis. Even though he's coming out of retirement for this, he is going to let nobody down. This is Stacey Jones with the kick, and Connolly funneled across, and the ball, fortunately for Great Britain, stood up.
That's one!
Not a bad kick though from Jones. He was looking for the 40-20, and the chase was good. Nigel Vangenaar probably still suffering from the fact that it was his mistake, came out of the line of defence and allowed Senior to score the one and only try.
James Lowes, Andrew Farrell, Paul Sculthorpe. Thought about the pass wide to Morley, took the tackle instead from Stacey Jones.
Great work there by Sean Hoppy. He picked out Morley as the runner outside and prevented any opportunity to pass.
Sculthorpe again, it goes wide to Leon Price. That's good work in defence from Sean Hoppy again. Gleeson to Deacon. And Deacon saw it was the last tackle, so he went between the two, Violicki and Farfili. Farfili, the man who picks it up. Good chase from Britain.
All you got to do is just keep turning the opposition around, and that's what they're doing exceptionally well. We often say it, but the kick is only as good as a chase, and both sides have been doing that well.
Andy!
But the biggest problem for the Kiwis is getting possession deep inside the Great Britain half.
4 changes have been made by Gary Freeman, the New Zealand coach. 4 changes have been made in the opening 23 minutes of this third test.
That's one! Here's Lagan, Stacey.
Connolly will play the ball to Sculthorpe. It'll go wide, and this is Martin Gleeson.
This game has been played at so much speed. They're really into it, both the defence. They're working overtime.
They are, and it's pretty tough as well. News of an injury on the Kiwi bench. Chris?
Monty Beetham's just come out of the dressing room. He's taken quite a heavy elbow to the eye. It looks like a slight concussion. I think you will see him come back into the game. If you didn't, it would be quite a blow for Coach Gary Freeman. Of course, Monty Beetham plays at loose forward and hooker. I think you've got to take your hat off to Gary Freeman across the tour. He's carried 4 forwards in every match so far in these 7 games, and it's been quite a feature of their game, the way he has rotated those forwards.
The kick from Deacon wasn't good. Farfili straight down his throat.
Well, that's the worst kick we've seen so far in this game. Will not be pleasing the British coach David Waite there. Up until that point, they were splitting the fullback and the winger. That was a real gift.
Well, Stuart Fielden is still on the field, by the way. It's Adrian Morley who has been taken off by David Waite. This latest change by the British management. Here is Swain. And this now is Logan Swan again, 24th international, one of New Zealand's unsung heroes, Logan Swan. And David Solomona, just over halfway. Lovely flick pass out the back. This is Ruben Wiki.
Great run there by the second rower, Wiki.
Vangenaar.
You just get the impression, Eddie, that Gary Freeman's changed the tactics. They were playing it pretty tight. One out. Oh, great take from Hoppy.
And the ball has gone forward off Lauatiti. But it was terrific take from Sean Hoppy. And again, the high ball down that side and no British player competing.
Well, Liam Price was very flat-footed there. Getting back to that point about Gary Freeman. Interesting, we've not seen any runs from the hooker Richard Swain from the dummy half. He wants to swing it out wide, and that's been brought about by the fact that Stacey Jones is standing wider, taking first receiver. They want to get it out wide if they can. Big hit.
There's a lot of flopping going on out there. That was surely a flop by Solomona. Oh, Lowes has sold them a huge dummy. James Lowes, terrific run. He's got support from Gilmore.
Wonderful work there from the hooker.
What a run. Britain's on the offensive with Farrell to Sculthorpe. It goes wide to Connolly. Great tackle again, Logan Swan.
New Zealand home with me.
He's certainly beefed up the defence since he came off the bench, Swan. And rightly so.
Farrell.
But wonderful work from James Lowes. I don't think I've seen him run that fast in about 5 years.
Fielden stabs the ball through. It went off the knee, but it's the ball playing the man, not the other way around. That's a good kick from Deacon. That is Price. This could be a try. This could be a try for Gleeson. It's a decision for the video referee, but on first look, it looked as though Leon Price had knocked this ball backwards. If he has, and the video ref agrees, Gleeson scored.
Beautifully weighted kick as well from Deacon. He's onside, that's no problem whatsoever. They'll go further down the track. Does it go back? I think it does. And I think Hoppy may have got a fingertip to that as well. Ooh, it's a dodgy one.
Well, Price is in front of the football, facing his own sticks.
It doesn't matter if the momentum of the ball goes forward from the first impact, irrespective of where your body is. I hate to say it, but I think this is going to be no try. They get a closer look here. Yep, that'll be classed as a knock-on.
Well, David Campbell is tonight's video referee. Interestingly enough, Great Britain are all funneling back, waiting for the restart, but David Campbell is the man who has the decision.
No try for mine.
Here it comes, first decision from the video ref. The try is given. Martin Gleeson, Leon Price and Sean Hoppy competing, and the ball not adjudged to have been knocked forward, and Gleeson gets his second try of this Test series. Great Britain are leading by 8 points to 0.
Well, that's a fortunate one as far as I'm concerned. But let's take nothing away from him. It was a good hit, or should I say a poor kick from Fielden. Ricocheted away. They're all onside. Good jump from Price. What he hasn't been doing while he's been defending is jump under the ball, but he did on this occasion. And the never say die attitude, you'll notice here that Fielden goes for the kick. Not the best. Drop forwards. Don't usually do it. They got it knocked away. High kick. Went for the ball. He's a lot taller than Hoppy.
And the decision, Steve-O, is that Leon Price knocked the ball back. But this is why Great Britain were in the position.
Beautiful run. I mentioned it, the fact I don't think that I've seen Jimmy Lowe's run so fast. And I think they have got the benefit of the doubt. It was a 50-50 call, but he says, you little beauty. Or words to that effect.
That's a try, he says, and David Campbell, the video referee, agreed with him. And so Andrew Farrell now has the opportunity to make it 10-0 to Great Britain with this conversion from the far touchline. And that's the second miss from Farrell. 8-0. He's come of age as Great Britain captain tonight, his 21st time leading his country. Sculthorpe's there, Deacon's there, of course, as well, if things go wrong. But it's Gleeson who scored the second try. The St Helens man, what a year he's had.
Well, we talk about taking your chances, and Lady Luck, I felt, just shone on the British side on that occasion, but it was a good jump from Leon Price. He went higher than Hoppy.
And the decision by David Campbell was that Leon Price had knocked the ball backwards. That's why the try has been given.
Hey, I'm not arguing.
Let's go down to Bill. Injury news from Britain. Bill?
That's right, Eddie. While that was going on, Paul Deacon was having treatment in back play, and Great Britain physio Keith Warner was busy resetting a dislocated finger. There is Deacon. He's still in one piece.
Only just after that tackle from Vangenaar. Well, that would have been penalised in the Super League, that tackle. I know it's a totally different interpretation at international level, but some of the messing around at the play of the ball would frustrate the life out of the British supporters in the Super League and out of the commentators.
Well, the big problem that the Kiwis have is that Britain has gotten through on a clear run. Oh, that nearly was an intercept.
It nearly was. It was a flick back by Sculthorpe, and Tony Pulituya just couldn't pull it to him. Oh, if he'd have taken that in,
he was on his way.
The posts were beckoning up the other end.
Interesting to see who'll get the head and feed here.
Did Anderson, Britain, surely.
Well, did Anderson get a fingertip to it? But the biggest problem for the Kiwis, he'll be happy, will David Wade, is the fact that 12-2 clean breaks the British boys' lead. That means that New Zealand's defence is all at sea at the moment.
It is Great Britain's feed. Deacon feeds the scrum and goes down the short side with try scorer Martin Gleeson. He was held, says referee Stephen Clark. This is Leon Price. Well, that little incident, and look at the missed tackles rising for New Zealand. That little incident over on that far side involving Leon Price airborne will give him some confidence.
Oh, without doubt. And also lift the British boys as well.
Not too long, Richard.
Deacon. And Deacon sees a gap. Solomona with an important tackle. Lowe's waits. Here is Sculthorpe. Sculthorpe pops it up to Farrell. So close.
He came onto that like an express train. That's the way to run.
Connolly to Deacon. A kick out wide. It's another attempt for Leon Price. Price must be the favourite. Oh, it's dropped. And Price is in the crowd.
He reckons he's knocked it over the in-goal area, and I think there'll be a drop out underneath the sticks. It is. But again, the amount of pressure. Well, the man that they drafted in, good hurdle. The tall man, Leon Price. Well, he was selected in the centres and drifted out.
Well, he'll remember this night for years and years to come, Sean Hoppy. Called out of retirement. And that's the third goal line dropout for New Zealand. But called out of retirement not to play for his club, but to play for his country while they're on tour. Fantastic. And a rich reward, actually, for a man like Sean Hoppy.
Well, a great way to finish your career in many ways, Eddie, but I think he'd want to be on the winning end.
I'm sure he will want to be on the winning side. But this is Sculthorpe, and now it's Deacon. And this is Forshaw, and that's good hands. And that was Farrell, and Swain with another important tackle. And here come Great Britain with Sculthorpe, taking on Violicki, hauled down by him. And also Lauatiti was there. This is Anderson now.
Will Lowe's go on his own? He's completely confusing the Kiwi defence here.
Farrell, bullet pass, oh, it bounced off Connolly.
There's a knock on. We'll try to do the dummy runner. Connolly, the fullback, coming late on that second phase.
That's one. Yep, there you go.
Well, they've had so much of the possession, Great Britain. The worrying statistic is that they only lead by 8 points to 0. The amount of territory they've had, they should be far, far further ahead than this.
The thing is, though, Eddie, they don't have to panic about it.
That's ball. Here's ball.
The defence is pretty secure.
This is Farfili.
Only 2 clean breaks from the Kiwis so far.
And look at how long Great Britain have been in the opponent's half with ball in hand. 15 minutes of the 32 that we've played. Kick through. Difficult bounce for Leon Price. He dealt with it competently enough. Now he'll straighten it up.
That's one. Clear line.
Well, they're going nowhere with kicks like that. Not all the time in the world. We saw early in the piece that they put him under a lot of pressure with a high ball. Why didn't they revert back to doing that?
No, it's okay.
Pretty high there. Peacock felt it.
He did. It was Logan Swan. And here is Paul Sculthorpe. And this is Gleeson.
Good work there from Malley.
Well, Britain are bossing this test match at the moment. It's with Deacon. It's with Farrell. And Farrell back on the inside again.
5.
That's one, though,
Kick
for
on,
Great Britain, this set of 6.
It's got to be a high one.
Forshaw. Back
Get
it
it
goes
up.
to Deacon. And Deacon hoists it wide again. Leon Price, Sean Hoppy. And Hoppy and also Francis Melly, they won the race. Touched by Britain. It's play on. It's Sean Hoppy.
Boy was through there. He had the legs on Stuart Field and then he just slipped.
Here's Farfili again. Hat-trick at Ewood Park. He went close at Huddersfield.
Wait.
Richard Swain on halfway. Stacey Jones. The runner's Rahihi. Senior tangles with him. Farrell and Deacon come in as reinforcements.
Then again, we see the Kiwis giving it plenty of air. They know they're trying to get it on the outside.
Good ball from Stacey Jones. Oh, and they managed to offload that somehow. It's with Richard Swain. He picked up the pieces from Violicki. Here's Ohio. Farrell on his knees. And Ohio is grounded and finished off by Deacon.
Eager defence, that's what you need.
It's tenacious. This is Ruben Wiki. Vanganar to Jones. It goes wide once again to Lauatiti.
Knocked on. That'll be a scrum. Well, he doesn't look too concerned, Gary Freeman. He knows there's plenty of time to go. And he knows that if he gets a big shake of possession in the second half, he knows what his side is capable of doing. But that was a forced pass, and he wouldn't be impressed at that moment.
It's not wasted.
Gary Freeman, the New Zealand coach,
Let's go.
hoping that he will go through the tour, a fully fledged tour, unbeaten for the very first time. That would be a real feather in his cap. But it's not going Gary Freeman's way at the moment, Sean.
No, it's not, Eddie. We're sitting down in the Great Britain defensive end of the field, and this is about the third time I think they've been in front of me, their players, and you know, that's a sure indication that field position and territory and possession has all been in Great Britain's favour. I heard Steve-O make a comment before about converting the pressure into points. That will be a worry for Great Britain if they don't put any more points on the board before half-time. I think that's a major concern. They've been exemplary in all departments. If they've got a fault, it's just not finishing off things, and that can go against you when you look at a scoreline of 8 points to 0 with so much pressure applied onto this New Zealand side. I've got to say again, Eddie, and I've said it, I think near half-time, every test so far, New Zealand look tired. They want half-time to come.
Let's go.
Well, they might do, but they're going to get possession from this scrum because there's a little knock on there spotted by Stephen Clark. And Stacey Jones feeds the scrum. And here he is again, Stacey Jones. He is the man who holds the key for New Zealand, and Britain know that.
Good work by Deacon. That's his job. Got to stick to him like glue.
Here's Rahihi.
Not many opportunities being offered to the Kiwis. And I'm sure that Stacey Jones, given half a chance, those twinkling feet of his.
Ohio. Lauatiti. Lauatiti attacking the line, offloading. Well, in the first test, those offloads were going to black jerseys. In this, so far, they've gone to white. This is Connolly.
Well, I think Gary Freeman, the Kiwi coach, will be a little bit upset with that situation. They haven't been down that area long enough. They don't have to offload. They've got to get a bit of composure, go back to their kicking game, which was troubling the British boys.
And here is Gilmore. Running flat, he'll straighten it now. Good strength from Gilmore, gives it to Farrell. And Farrell tries to break the line. Horn has come on for James Lowes. Connolly, and this is Peacock. And Peacock gets away from them. Stacey Jones comes back for a second snap with Hoppy, with the winger Francis Melly. Deacon, angled kick, but not the best. That's on the bounce to Fafili. Richard Horn gets to him with Anderson.
Oh, could have been penalised there. Referee shouting out, and he's got a... There's no excuse for that. They're not deaf out there. I think everyone here and Stephen Clark, they just never released him. You've got to get away from the man after he's been tackled.
Paul Anderson penalised. 8th cap, and all of them off the bench for Paul Anderson.
Well, all that hard work that the British boys have produced.
Look at the metres gained that Great Britain have made in this first half so far.
It'll mean nothing, Eddie, if the Kiwis sneak a try just before half-time. We've got to make sure that the defence is solid. No one come out of that one line of defence.
Polituia plays the ball to Richard Swain. Richard Swain finds David Vialicki. He bounces off the chest of Sculthorpe, who comes back again. And this is Jamie Peacock. That's 4 tackles gone.
No, you got to get it up.
And here goes Richard Swain.
First time he's really got motion forward.
This is Stacey Jones. Angled kick, looking for Vanganar, and Senior clasps it to his chest. Oh, loses it.
I think it was one-on-one. I think it was stripped there by Ruben Wiki.
This is Ruben Wiki.
0.
That was good play by the big second rower.
Here now is Stacey Jones. This now is Polituia. He flicks the ball out wide. Chance here for Hoppy. It was touched by a British hand. It's back to 0. This is Sean Hoppy. Last minutes of the first half. On the drive, they come again with Lauatiti.
Stacey Jones screaming for the football. They're swinging it out towards the right. He gets it now.
It's a vital last minute of this first half. This is Rahihi, dumps the ball back brilliantly. They come again with Logan Swan.
Great tackle from Stuart Fielden there, finished up by Anderson.
Here goes Rahihi looking for the line.
He's lost it. He's lost it.
And the referee and touch judge agree with you. Well, Britain survived when they were under the most intense pressure, the only pressure really they've been under in this first half.
Boy, oh boy, that was close, and he just lost control of it. And the touch judge and the official saw it. Well, Rahihi knew that he had glory at his fingertips there, but the fingertips let him down, shakes his head.
Well, Britain just need to work this ball through the next tackle, and they will turn round at half-time with an 8-point advantage. Here's Leon Price. He takes the tackle, and Britain have the 8-point lead. Well, Paul Sculthorpe and the rest of the British side, and Andy Farrell will be breathing a sigh of relief. Here is McDermott. There is McDermott, and history has not repeated itself.
And I bet he's a relief prop forward as well that that ball didn't spill clear from his grasp. It must have been a nervous moment when they kicked towards him.
Stuart Fielden, he's had a magnificent series. He really has. He's been on from start to finish, all of the games just about.
They're good tactics, kicking early in the tackle count, making sure that they apply the pressure.
Vailicki is the man who receives the tackle from 3.
They starved the Kiwis in the first half. They must do it exactly the same in the second stanza. They've got to keep control of Jones and the hooker Richard Swain. They're the two key players.
Here is Fafili, the winger. 4 tries in a series is the most for a New Zealander, and he's 1 away from it. That is against Great Britain. Oh, it's a loose pass. It's an awful pass, and they've got away with that. And Deacon is appealing for a knock-on against Ohio, but it doesn't come. They're trying to take Banganar to the touchline.
Not the best pass there. Ohio just overran it. Did well to go back and retrieve it. I think they got the right decision.
Good kick too. This will stand, and Connolly will have to run this back. And Stacey Jones is leading the wall. He's away from him, but he can't get away from Pulituya.
Good chase as well by the big forward Pulituya. That's a good run from Senior. That's the way to take the pressure off your forwards.
Right, let's get down to our reporters on the side. Half-time news. Chris, in a moment. First, Bill.
Eddie, the Great Britain viewpoint is that David Waite, the coach, is delighted with that first 40 minutes, but 1 or 2 areas where his side have really got to buckle down in this second 40 if they are to pull off this third test victory. Composure is one area that he's looking for an improvement from to his side, because they got themselves into a great position, as we saw in that first half, but their composure let them down on several occasions, and they've really got to keep their heads when they're in that try-scoring position. The kicking game, as Sculthorpe puts another kick in, is also going to be crucial for Great Britain. That was good in the first half. They've got to keep the pressure up on these New Zealanders. Let's find out what the Kiwi viewpoint is. Here's Chris Warren.
Well, Gary Freeman, a man of a few words, as we all know. He did say to me, Chris, I can tell you one thing, it'll be a different score come full time. He's hoping his boys can come home. I think psychologically they have got an advantage, given that they're only 8 points in the red. They were very fired up coming back out for the second half, and interestingly, the man in the centre of the huddle doing mustering up all the bravado, rallying his troops, was a man not expected to play, and that was Sean Hoppy.
Yeah, it's a big night for Sean Hoppy, big night for British Rugby League though as well. And here come the Kiwis again now. This is Ali Lauatiti, and he does so well to offload that ball under pressure. That's Rahihi. Last tackle, and Jones with the kick through, and just waited good enough. It means that Gleeson has to run this ball back. Gilmore, beg your pardon. Gilmore has to run this ball back.
Pretty good night for Gilmore as well. Pretty solid in defence, and also he's done well in relieving the kick.
Great ball!
Pass from
Connolly to Senior, and Senior taking on Vailicki. Senior taking on Vailicki. Great tackle by Vailicki.
Pretty slow to get to him. Vailicki all over him. That's good refereeing by Clark.
Play on.
The advantage.
This is Forshaw. Looping pass to Morley. Morley takes it back on the inside, and he's hauled down.
Once again, scrambling defence by the Kiwis, superb.
Farrell taking them on. They're underneath the sticks. dummy half. It goes to Deacon. Back on the inside to Connolly. First try of Connolly's international career. No.
Bialecki's underneath it, but they'll get the head and feed. Or was it on the last? No, it's a head and feed. Beautiful reverse pass on the inside. Good work by Pugliatuia. Went right underneath. Look at the break here. What a pass from Connolly. I thought perhaps that he would have done the step. He didn't. And they were looking to get away with it. Bialecki went very high indeed. He's such a big man. And Connolly going over. Wonderful work, though, by Pugliatuia.
So close, Connolly, to his first international try in 29 appearances. Here is Sculthorpe. Great Britain trying to turn the screw. Connolly in the thick of it at dummy half. It goes to Richard Horne. It goes wide to Barry McDermott. He flicks the pass to Mike Forshaw, and it goes then on to Stuart Fielden. And again the New Zealanders muscle up in defence. Richard Horne, Deacon, Morley. That's 10 metres away. 3 tackles gone. Horne at dummy half again.
Tony.
Back it goes to Deacon. Deacon will attack the line. Farrell!
He's had a great skipper's knock tonight as Farrell, looking for the ball at all times.
Connolly again. Here is Sculthorpe. Back on the inside to McDermott. On the last, right in front of the sticks.
Superb work from the hooker, Richard Swain.
Sculthorpe stabs the ball through, bouncing off the legs of Ohio, picked up by
Was he
Richard
in
Swain.
front? He said no, the touch judge. Stephen Clark, the Australian referee, had a good look at this touch man.
He's okay, he's okay.
Not much in it, and I think you'll...
They've lost the ball anyway, the Kiwis here.
Well, Lance Ohio just took a step through, so he overran the man in front. This is the kick from Sculthorpe.
First one was a one-on-one steal.
And you see that soon as Ohio took that step forward, it was all right for the hooker Swain to get to it, but they've come up with the error.
They have, but the Kiwis have the head and feed here. It was obviously, I think it was Adrian Morley who got a flick to it. And so that's why Stacey Jones had the feed at that scrum, and that's why he's given it to Francis Melly. This is the reason why it was stripped by Richard Horne. And then Morley knocked on.
Again, pretty solid defence. And they're forcing him very much down that middle of the park. And as this game goes on, Eddie, you get to a point where the Kiwis will have to start chancing their arm a little bit more, and that's when more errors can come their way. That's the one of them.
It was Wiki who tried to offload impossibly, and Adrian Morley dropped on it, and here come Britain again with Sculthorpe. That's a great tackle though by Logan Spong. But the number of chances, the number of times that Britain have got the ball turned over to them, they have got to start converting them soon. Otherwise, the test's in danger of slipping away.
Well, it makes you wonder, Eddie, whether David Waite will send the message out as we get anywhere near. Let's go for the 1 point. They messed around last week when they really should have completed that game with a win.
Sculthorpe to Deacon, bit of space for Deacon. This is Farrell.
Dodgy pass there.
It was, and Ohio was waiting for him. That's the last. There is Deacon again at dummy half. Here is Sculthorpe. He'll hoist the kick. Now then, Leon Price against Sean Hoppy. And Hoppy is the man who comes up with the possession.
That's one!
Lucky that his body was just twisting in the air. Watch it there, Hoppy went backwards. Just a touch with the fingertips a few seconds before that. It would have been a knock-on.
Great work round the marker from Gleeson there. Here is Sean Hoppy again now.
It's been a highlight as well, and that's the reason why they're forcing Kiwis down the middle.
Swain. Drive forward is by Rahihi.
Funny off-the-ball incident there, Barry McDermott. It's set up rather late, hit one of the Kiwis and then apologised.
Swain again. Inside it goes to Lauatiti. Big hit by Fielden. Terrific defence from Great Britain.
Well, the Kiwis have not bossed the forwards, have they? It's been the other way around.
Stacey Jones was outside the 40. He was outside the 40, took a step forward. The referee will give head and feed here to Britain. He called it as soon as Stacey Jones clipped that ball. He was only a metre outside.
Outside 40.
Well, I'll say 2, but either way, the experience of Stacey Jones knows that they have not had much possession in the Great Britain quarter. And they will hustle now to try to force the error. They need possession badly. They know they've got the quality and the skills to do it. And while ever Stacey Jones is out there, Britain cannot rest.
Look at the amount of possession Great Britain have had. They've bossed this test match, but they aren't bossing it on the scoreboard. And the last win, coincidentally west of the Pennines, where we are now, was in '97 against the Aussies. And here goes Sculthorpe. Great ball to Senior. Another wonderful tackle in defence by young Lance O'Hire. Quick play the ball.
That's what's needed.
Forshaw.
Forshaw has to get up quick. They're still struggling to get back in the line of defence. That's got to be a penalty. O'Hire all over it.
And he's on the way to the bin.
They said the next one would go. And the Kiwis are down to 12. The hole is getting bigger.
Gary Freeman.
Ironic smile from Freeman.
Yeah, just having a smile and a shake of the head.
But there's nothing that the referee, Stephen Clark, could do about this. Never attempting to get off should I say. More intent to lie on. Beautiful break though from Sculthorpe. How many times in the second half already to add to the 15 in the first half? Clean breaks there. Well, they were trying to bury him.
I don't know how Lance O'Hire thinks he's being held down, unless it was by Mike Forshaw's teeth. Well, Farrell, the Great Britain captain, has not kicked a successful penalty or conversion all night. This is the first penalty attempt he's had. The other two have been conversions. This is an important kick in the context of this test match. Well, he knows that range. Great Britain hit double figures. 10-0. A little more breathing space. O'Hire is on the bench in the sin bin. The New Zealanders are down to 12 men for 10 minutes. Now there'll be no hurry to restart this. And Stacey Jones has had a conflab with the referee.
Well, there's little doubt what he would have said to the official as well. It's that, okay, if it worked for my side, make sure it works for them as well. And I'm sure that Stephen Clark would have said that's a positive, not a negative. He'll keep them open.
He might also have said, Stacey Jones, Mr. Clark, I have never lost a test match against Great Britain before. In 9 attempts, Stacey Jones has been on the winning side, and he doesn't want to be on the losing side tonight. Wonderful play from McDermott, and he's found Richard Horne.
That's better, the youngster growing in confidence. That's what we want to see. Good quick play the balls as well.
Connolly's having a wow on his last match. He really is.
This has been
last game of rugby league for Gary Connolly.
This has been a wonderful team effort as well, Eddie. It's the Aussies and the Kiwis who often say that a win will come around with your good defence, and that's been superb by the British boys. That's a great kick. Turn them around. Time and time again.
Farfili collects. Spins the ball inside to Violicki. And Farrell and Morley there to close Violicki down. But the New Zealanders have to take the risks now.
Well, they know it, 10 points adrift.
But Great Britain are swarming after the man with the football.
Important also, and I'm sure David Waite will get the message out to his skipper, Andy Farrell.
Come on.
Give away no silly penalties when you're down in that area.
Oof, oof. Bro, he felt that. That was a clanger from Morley.
He didn't like it either, and he went looking for
Swain. Swain is away. He's got support inside. Logan Swan is there. Oh, looked forward. Great hands though. Stacey Jones. Stacey Jones. Fantastic rugby league try from the Kiwis. An element of doubt about one of the passes, but take nothing away from that. That was fantastic stuff. And Stacey Jones has breathed life into the New Zealand challenge here. The 12 men have responded.
It's a first break from the hooker Richard Swain, and we fell for the 5-card trick. The first and second markers up to this point have been working overtime, and a beautiful flick back on the inside, Logan Swan. And Stacey Jones, he's been outstanding, this hooker Swain. Kept his cool, nothing wrong with the pass. Connolly had to commit himself. He could see that Gilmore was coming across, and Swan flicked it back on the inside. Outstanding rugby league football, and this is what it meant to the Kiwi coach.
Well, Stacey Jones with a wonderful try for the New Zealanders, and Lance Hohaya, who's in the sin bin, was going to be the man to take the kicks, but it's going to fall to Stacey Jones. 13 tries now for the New Zealand captain. The conference is on underneath the posts for Great Britain. Now, despite the fact that Richard Swain has been kicking regularly throughout this tour, it's Stacey Jones who's taking the responsibility on his own shoulders here. Not the most difficult kick, it must be said, but at test level, anything is difficult. And Stacey Jones has kicked previously 6 goals, as you just saw, for his country at this level. But they're not finished yet. The Kiwis are not finished yet, and David Waite knows that. He knows that better than any of us. Jones then, it's fallen again off the kicking tee.
Well, you can take nothing away from the Kiwi skills, Eddie, and the wonderful break from Richard Swain was outstanding.
Stacey Jones adds the extras. Great Britain 10, New Zealand 6. They might be behind the 8 ball, the Kiwis, but they are very, very dangerous. And James Lowes has emerged, I've noticed. Richard Swain had the freedom of the JJB Stadium then, and James Lowes has been told to get on and stop him.
Little doubt in the mind of David Waite, that is the right decision. Because he would have seen also the fact that Stuart Fielding especially was very slow. You're only praising them in the first half, the way that the first and second markers had really worked hard. And they just dropped their concentration.
Confirmation that Lowes has come on for Price. Connolly has moved out to the wing to cover for Price, and young Richard Horne is playing fullback as Solomona drives the ball forward. And the music is ringing around the JJB Stadium. Here is Swain. Here is Ruben Wiki. Here goes Swain again.
He's becoming dangerous.
Banganar.
Are the British boys tiring, Eddie?
Solomona.
They've done a lot of running. They've had so many breaks, and so have the Kiwis. They've had to get back. Their cover defence has been outstanding.
Last tackle, and Gilmore not interested in that, just allowing it to bounce in front of him. Finding touch.
He knows again that how important it is just to keep them down there. Well, that is a great fillip, isn't it? New Zealand down to 12 men. And still on the bench, sin binned.
Only 3.5 minutes left on the bench, and what's more, the Kiwis have scored a try.
And the disappointing thing that David Waite will know is that when you have the numbers in defence, 13 against 12, you shouldn't be giving the sucker punch like they did.
Here goes Sculpel.
That's one!
It is not over yet. This is a physical match. It's been a physical series. Lowes, McDermott.
It's been a cracker, hasn't it? I've enjoyed every second of this, and there's still plenty of time to go.
Lowes to Deacon. That was flicked by Banganar.
Back to 6, it was touched.
And he wipes the count down to Stephen Clark as Senior goes on a run.
That's 0!
And it was a good spinning tackle by Logan Swan, whose pass to put Stacey Jones in for that New Zealand try was worth the admission money alone. Fantastic skill.
And not only that, the mere fact that he's got through a lot of defence has really lifted this side.
Lowes will attack them from dummy half. Great ball, and a goal over the shoulder of Connolly.
It was on.
No wonder rugby league coaches turn grey prematurely.
Again, it was Lowes, beautiful step. That was on, just going a little bit too high from Gleeson.
Don't worry about it.
That's why you go grey, as Eddie said, or bald. Either way, it's another missed opportunity. Shakes his head in disbelief. They had the overlap.
You're right, Jimmy, and you
So
go.
they should have.
So close.
Kiwis still down to 12.
Out!
Sean, that's the reason why we up here wonder why you down there do the job.
You mean I'm bald and grey? I've got the daily double, haven't I? Yeah, Eddie, I think the try is just a great example of you know, one play can change a game. And the Kiwis are obviously capable of doing that with the football in their hands. They've got great skill. They've got plenty of individuals out there that can win a ball game for them. But the Great Britain side have still dominated all facets of play. And that's what's concerning, obviously. The scoreboard's 10-6, and yet New Zealand are well in this match, and they're starting to get a little bit of a roll on. That must be a concern for Coach David Waite.
And no wonder he sent on James Lowes to look after Richard Swain. Whoa, Stacey Jones was meeting a British sandwich then. Here now is Gleeson. And Jones up off his feet to try and stop him. And that is Wiki, who wrestled into the ground. Rob.
Well, did the shoulders move? That's the decision that the referee has to do. And I think they did. That should have been a penalty.
Skull pulled to Anderson. And Anderson standing and is eventually wrestled to the ground. Solomona and Jerry Siu. Deacon wide to Farrell, then back and a good run. So close for Gilmore. Well, Swain has got him in a headlock because he's trying to play the football.
The thing is, Eddie, we cannot just close up shop and expect to hang on to 4. It's not going to be enough.
Deacon hoists the kick out wide. Connolly is after this, and Connolly got to it.
Knock on first, and the officials got it right. The head and feet to, oh, it was on the last, so the turnover. Well, the high kick created all sorts of problems.
You might notice there number 6, Lance O'Hire, is out of the sin bin as well. So that really was damage limitation of the highest quality by the Kiwis. They scored the try, the only try, while O'Hire was off the field.
You've got to admire the way that David Waite read it, though, because of the fact that Richard Swain doing more runs from dummy half now, sent out Jimmy Lowes with the sole intention. We've got to cut him down.
There is Swain. Here is Stacey Jones. Now it's Vialicki.
That's good defence. See how it was like an umbrella coming in out wide, forced the man back in. No room to move.
Wiki again. On to Siu. 19 minutes of the test match to go. A 4-point gap between Great Britain and New Zealand. Solomon, a beautiful pass to Stacey Jones. What a pass that was. What an important tackle it was as well. Solomona, Swain. Here's a little job to do.
Too far.
He claimed it well. Did Gilmore, and off he goes.
What a game this guy's had. And that was a high swinging arm. Get on with it, quick play the ball.
Well, the tactics of the Kiwis prevent a quick play the ball by Great Britain. They turtle the man, and then they stop him getting to his feet quickly. Look. It's been going on all the way through this series, and there's a kick then. Lauatiti with a kick. Second go. It wasn't the penalty for that. It was the second go at holding him down.
Yeah. And that is a sure sign of a side that it's running out of fuel. They really have been turned around so often.
5-2 the penalties.
I said at half-time, Eddie, you have to admire the way that the Kiwis have got back and prevented Great Britain from scoring more tries. But will it tell against them in the last 10-15 minutes? I think it might.
Well, Great Britain can have no qualms about the penalty count in this series. Before today, they'd had 8 penalties given to them by Stephen Clarke. The Kiwis just 8, and it's 5-2 here tonight.
3! Yeah, mate, on the line, Jerry.
Wide it goes to Farrell.
Took the gamble there, did the standoff. Lance O'Hire got away with it.
Now then, Britain will come again with Fielden, but
it's got to be a high
Field
kick.
was all over the top.
Give it plenty of height.
Deacon running it, stabs it through, and Sean Hoppy is content to allow that to run and beat both him and Gleeson. Deacon with a bit of a clout.
Well, I don't think that was the best option. There's no one near him. He had all the time in the world to get away a high kick, which has proved to an advantage to the side.
Let's go, boys.
David Waite looks quite composed. That was the the key word that he said to his charges, and rightly so.
Keep it, Andy! Hold it, Andy!
This has been a real classic, hasn't it?
Been a battle of wills, hasn't it? And it's not over yet. This is by Licky. And Richard Horne stuck to him.
Another problem for New Zealand tonight is the fact that they've had very few opportunities to get a roll on. Double sets of 6. I don't think they've had a 3. I think they've only had about 4 double sets throughout this game.
There's a big hit on Paul Rahihi. Here's Richard Swain. Now Stacey Jones gives it width and finds Lauatiti. He offloads to Francis Melly. And Deacon did just enough. And he was finished off by Jamie Peacock. It's so tense. Jones in field and takes the return. He does well, though, is Mike Forshaw. Last one. Swain attacking them again. Brilliant pass. Jones once again. And Jones attacking them. Connolly gets to him. And Connolly gets him down.
Saved the day. They took the power play. It didn't come off, but Stacey Jones, the combination of Richard Swain and the halfback and the captain, was superb. Look at the step and the speed off from a standing start. Connolly came in, says, come here. It's beginning to wear against Gary Freeman. He knows that the clock is a big enemy at the moment.
Only a quarter of an hour remaining, but nothing to choose between the two sides on the scoreboard. Lowe's to Farrell, and Farrell steps, and a half break from Farrell, hauled down by Ruben Wiki. Gilmore, the dummy half. He'll go down the short side. He'll find Senior, and Senior takes them on. Senior's on his own though, and in the end, Banganal got him down.
He did well. He knew he'd no support, so he came back on the angle, went in field. Jimmy Lowe's wants someone to offload. He's got it.
He's found Sculthorpe. Sculthorpe will score. Sculthorpe behind the post. James Lowe's toyed with them and waited, and Sculthorpe arrived. But credit Senior for the run on the far side that produced the territory for Great Britain to attack. There is daylight between the teams now. Paul Sculthorpe, the dual man of steel, has come up with another priceless British try.
And what an effort from the substitute, Danny Orr. This is the break. Super stuff back on the inside. Get out of the way. Farfili went far too high. But this was good thinking there by Senior. Knew there was no channel out wide. Jimmy Lowe says, come on, I need somebody. He was there. See how Danny Orr took the knock. Sculthorpe through the dummy. And scores a wonderful, wonderful try. Quite clearly they went for Danny Orr. He thought that Sculthorpe was going to offload. And he may be an Aussie, but I tell you what, he's got GB blood running through his veins as Mr. Waits.
Paul Sculthorpe's try, and Andrew Farrell now, not only with an important kick in the context of this match, but also in his own personal history. Andrew Farrell has just become only the 5th player in history to kick 50 goals for Great Britain. The likes of Neil Fox, Lewis Jones, Jim Sullivan, Eric Fraser, and now write the name of Andrew Farrell alongside all of those. But Sculthorpe's try could just be the try that breaks the New Zealand hearts. Britain have a lead at this stage of the test that could be so vital.
Well, who would have thought it? The first instance that Danny Orr gets on the field, he attracts Solomona to him like a magnet, which allowed the gap for Sculthorpe to race through.
There's Danny Orr getting to his feet and playing the ball. His first involvement in this match, though, as you rightly say, was being clattered off the ball.
Didn't matter. It sucked out Solomona enough to allow that gap to appear. And for once in the second half, Great Britain have taken that chance. And full credit also there by Jimmy Lowe. He ran right across the face of the defence of the Kiwis. They are getting tired. It's taken it out of them. They haven't had much possession.
They've got possession now off the kick from Danny Orr. This is Violicki. Danny Orr following it up himself, and he's doing well, harassing him. And Lowe's, well, I don't know where on earth you would pick a man of the match tonight, but there are some candidates in white. Lowe's is one, Farrell is one, Sculthorpe is one.
Oh, they've all played their part.
Connolly's one, Fielden's one, 1 to 17.
I thought you were going to name them all then. Big hit by Lowe's yet again.
It's not over yet. Here goes Francis Melly. A flick pass looking for the inspiration, Jones. And a knock on by O'Hire. And frustration. And a little smile from Gary Freeman.
Well, I think that look said it all, didn't it? It took a while for this youngster, Lance O'Hire, to get into the swing of things at international level. He impressed me in the second half of the first test, and then in the second half, the combination in the second test with Stacey Jones, it looks as though it was coming to fruition.
Oh, he's one for the future, one for the present, Lance O'Hire. But Steve-O, let us just return to that point we made in the first half. The way that Great Britain have built throughout this series, the way they have approached this third and indeed the second test. Next year when the Aussies are over here, please give Great Britain a couple of warm-up matches, because it's a long time from the end of the grand final to the start of a test series, and of course the Origin series happens in the middle of the season. Give Great Britain and cooperate. The clubs of Super League, please cooperate with David Waite and Great Britain and give Great Britain a couple of smacks and a couple of hit-outs before the Aussies get here.
Hey, don't give me a lecture. I'm on your side, all right? Let's hope that they go down to the south of France. It'd be nice and warm down there, get the build-up to it, play at least 2 games. Why not? Play the junior Kiwis.
Garner is away, is Gleeson. He's got support from Danny Orr. And Danny Orr keeps on going. And they eventually wrestle him to the ground. He's hurt, Danny Orr. It was Vangenaar who got the legs around him. Plays the ball though to Lowe's. A little dab through from Farrell. Well collected by Henry Farfili.
Oh, he read it well, didn't he? Good pressure kick as well from the skipper. He's had an outstanding game as well. Second test, I thought he came back to his best.
Sean, don't count your chicken, Sean, but is this it?
I think it is, Eddie. I don't think the Kiwis have got a great deal to throw at them. It's going to have to be speculation all the time. It's going to have to be a fancy sort of pass. They're going to have to keep the ball alive, and of course when that happens, you're likely to pick up a little bit of rubbish and a little bit of loose ball, and maybe the Great Britain side have got some more points in them as well. I just don't see the Kiwis getting out of this game now.
Well, what a hit by Vangenaar, and he felt that. He felt that, Richard Horn, and the touch judge is on.
Well, I'm not so sure it's as bad as what first thought. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, over the top. I thought maybe just ricochet against the chest, but he's going to have a little bit of a lecture.
Okay.
It's a bit sloppy.
Okay.
But we often say it, Eddie, that when you win games, you have to control certain parts of the match itself. In the forwards, we had to match the might of this big Kiwi pack, and it's enormous.
It is.
But there's little doubt also that they certainly have missed Stephen Kearney.
No doubt about that. You say they are enormous, and there's the amount of work that both sides are doing, but the 35 missed tackles by New Zealand at this level, that is quite alarming, that statistic. You mentioned the fact that the New Zealanders have got a big pack. They have Andy Farrell, Paul Anderson, Adrian Morley. They ain't midgets.
No, but David Waite's got it right. We mentioned the fact there's no point of just running at them, the big fellas. Look and run at the smaller blokes, the 2 halfbacks.
Sculthorpe
and Jones.
Connolly! Is this the moment for Connolly?
Oh, what a way that would have been to say farewell to rugby league. He's had a belter. And so has the man that offloaded as well. We certainly missed him in the first test.
Go, boys.
The medical staff worked overtime to get this man fully fit. Well, not fully. They made it quite clear that it was only about 70%. He might be 75, and the pressure is getting to him. But I think he knows it now, Eddie.
Here's Lance O'Hire.
Kiwis have to, they've got to score twice. gamble.
Well, if any team can gamble, the New Zealanders are the ones. 25 clean breaks by Great Britain, 35 missed tackles by the New Zealanders.
Well, it's a little chip over the top. Well, they've got the penalty, but they've got to change their tactics slightly now, New Zealand. They've got to make the gamble, and I wonder whether David Waite, that he doesn't normally have this, and that's utilising the sweeper. That's one of the straight line of defence, just drops back 5 metres just to prevent the little chip over the top. And we know that Stacey Jones has got all the skills.
Jones, and here now comes Pulatuya, tackled by Sculthorpe. Here goes Guttenbeil. Chances here for Lauatiti, the offload specialist. Richard Swain will attack them. They're gaining ground. They're 10 metres away.
He's had a great second half for Swain.
Guttenbeil, Stacey Jones wide. Rahihi, great tackle, foreshore. Last one, Vanganar back to Jones. And Jones flicks it to Violicki. On it goes to Pulatuya. Brilliant skill again. Vanganar keeps it going once more. Sculthorpe drops on it. Gets applause from Danny Orr and gets cramped.
It's amazing how they do when you're in control of the game. But he's still down there by the looks of things. Now he gets up.
Let it go, Nigel.
Richard Horn was nearly away. Gary Connolly, what a way to end. Danny Orr.
And they haven't finished yet.
I read a quote from Gary Connolly. He said, if this is to be my last 3 games of rugby league, after this performance, it's got to be a big if. Lowe's, Sculthorpe, Peacock.
And I've got to heap praise on David Waite. He's had a lot of criticism over the few years that he was appointed. Not many people took too kindly with the fact that an Australian for the first time would be in charge of our national side. But he's certainly brought back a lot of pride, and I think is going to bring back a little touch of glory and a piece of silverware that we haven't seen in any competition since 1972.
Yes, it'll be a proud day for David Waite and for the British team if they survive the last 5 minutes of this test.
The defence has been awesome. You talk about asking your players for commitment. They have just bruised the opposition. They've given them little space to move.
It's been a long season for these players. February the 1st, I think it was, the World Club Championship for the Bradford Bulls, and remember, there are 8 Bradford Bulls in the 17 men out there for Britain tonight. That's a lovely dab over the top. That is Richard Swain, and this is Stacey Jones, and that kick, oh, Connolly has fumbled it.
Back to 6.
Won't need it, won't need them. Here's Lauatiti has scored. Referee, well, what's he going to look at here?
Dave, can you just check the lead up to that whole thing, please?
He wants to check the lead up to it all.
Well, was he onside? That's what he's going to look for. I mentioned the fact. Would David Waite drop back the sweeper? He didn't. And Stacey Jones, well, he did it on song, did he? On cue here. Nothing wrong with that. He's way brilliant behind him. Well, the 2 tries that the Kiwis have come up with today have been absolutely outstanding.
Well,
you can't go for the forward.
He can't decide on the forward pass, but it was. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now he's played it anyway. It's Gary Connolly who knocks it back.
This will be a try. No doubt in my mind that this is going to be TRY. Sensational play yet again from the Kiwis. That looked a bit dubious, but maybe the momentum rule that creates so much confusion on both sides of the world. This will be TRY, and it's not over yet.
It isn't.
Oh. We were polishing the silverware, and this guy has turned it all around. Hold on to your horses.
Ali Lauatiti. His try means it's going to be a nervous last few minutes for Great Britain, particularly if Lance O'Hire manages to convert this. He wasn't on the field when they scored their first try. He's on the field while they score their second try, and so he will take the conversion. 16-10. If this game's over, 16-12, and then it's all in the hands of the timekeepers. Ohio with a vital kick for the Kiwis. Oh, what a shocker. Game, set and match. Maybe.
Oh, don't say that, Eddie.
Well, after a kick like that,
yeah, they really needed those 2 points.
They needed those 2 points. But if New Zealand draw, they will take the cup home.
My word, that's what I say. Whoever's got the metal polish out, or should I say the silver polish out, you better put it away.
Well, less than 3 minutes remain.
Not that I want the Kiwis to put it on the plane tarnished by any stretch of the imagination. It's got to be a deep kick, and it's got to be a wonderful chase. Hit them with everything, but make sure you hit them. What a fight back. What a fight back by the Kiwis, though, Eddie. They just will not lie down. They were down to 12 men, scored that magnificent try from Stacey Jones.
Well, Swain and Jones have terrorised them, and Andrew Farrell has, well, he's read the riot act behind the post. He's now got to hope that his men come up with the goods, and here they come again. This is Francis Melly. Richard Horne stood his ground. 4 tackles gone, 2 remaining, and 2 minutes remaining. Gutenbeil, Stacey Jones, inside to Lance Ohio, wide it goes to Vanganar. They have a man on the overlap. Vanganar is hauled down by Danny Orr. This is the last one. Stacey Jones again will hoist the kick. Take a deep breath, Great Britain. Oh! Chances here still. Melly keeping it alive. Knock on.
Britain have got it back. Knock on. And Gleeson will gleefully, and he knows, I think, that is the last throw of the dice.
Well, 1 minute 20 seconds to go.
He's got cramp again, as Sculthorpe. There's 10 seconds wasted.
No, he's held the clock up.
He's too crafty, is Clarkey. Stephen, that is, the Australian official.
This is Adrian Morley. He plays the ball to Lowe's. Here is Fielden.
What
New
a
Zealand
credit.
is going to get the ball back again for the last set of 6.
What a credit to both sides. This has been classic. Been a wonderful tour. International Rugby League is back on song, and rightly so.
Inside the last minute, and Farrell, he goes for a 40-20. Oh, it's bounced the wrong way. And Vailicki. Now then, 45 seconds remain as Vailicki begins this latest Kiwi attack.
No dummies, make sure the first and second marker work overtime.
Jones to Hoppy.
Don't give away the penalty, that's the important factor. You can see the first and second markers doing the right thing. They're going back at least 10 metres.
Look at the way they get the ball away though, these Kiwis. That's knocked down.
That'll be a knock-on from Morley.
Knock on by Morley.
They'll have a chance.
Well, if they have the time to get the scrum settled. He's held the clock up with 8 seconds to go.
It'll be a feed of the scrum and kick and chase. It has to be.
And Graham Stedman is on the field taking the message from David Waite, and he's funneling about 3 players back to defend the kick.
Well, both wingers, they've got to go back and help out. Right. The youngsters, Richard Horne, here it comes. This has to be the kick.
And it is from Jones. It's a belter. It's an absolute belter. It's with Vanganar, and Vanganar flicks infield to Gutenbeil. If they get them down, this Kiwi Test series is over. But they're coming forward to pull it to you. Here is Lauatiti. Lauatiti flicks it back to Melly. Melly keeps it going to Hoppy. Interception. Fielden.
That's it.
Great Britain have won. Great Britain have beaten the Kiwis. They take home the Albert Baskerville Trophy, and David Waite wins a Test around this ground, the relief and the feeling of relief is tangible. Lowe's has played his part. They all have.
Wonderful effort, Eddie. Superb. Both sides can feel proud. And I suppose in many ways to share the series is a just result for two great sides.
Yes, 1-1, 1 drawn, and the Great Britain captain Andrew Farrell's with Bill.
Nerve-wracking.
Oh, what a weird game, I think. That game had absolutely everything, you know. A lot of excitement all the way through, but not good for the ticker.
Was it? Was it in the closing minutes? No.
You just hope and pray. The man upstairs is looking after us, mate.
Well, after what you've been through this season, or this year, especially, dare I mention it, July and what happened in Sydney, to eventually win a test match like this must mean a heck of a lot.
We always said, but we always believed in ourselves, because we know as a Great Britain set up, we know as Great Britain players, we know as our Super League, we're very strong, you know. We've been saying this, and we said that we needed time, and that's our third game together in this series. That's the 7th, I think, and you know, I thought we played some outstanding stuff tonight, and we can get better and better as a squad, because this squad keeps getting together and keeps playing some good rugby league, and long may it continue.
Congratulations, Andy.
Well done, Andrew Farrell. Richard Swain was a hero for the New Zealanders. He tormented Great Britain at times. There he is with Chris.
Richard, I guess you must be disappointed with the final score. Are you pleased with the effort of your guys right throughout the tour, particularly this game?
Yeah, they really put in. We came across a better team today. They play with a lot of passion, and they're just too good for us early on. Ran the rucks. I thought Jimmy Lowe's played a fantastic game.
You were missing a few personnel, of course. Monty didn't come back in the second half. Lance O'Hire in the bin. No excuses, but I guess you couldn't seem to get enough of that ball.
No, we won't make any excuses. They were the better team in this last game, and yeah, we couldn't get any ball in the first half and early on in the second half, but we're not going to complain. They were the better team today.
Yeah, better team, that's for sure. A drawn series, they get the silverware, but a number of the youngsters have come over on this tour. Invaluable experience, I imagine, for them.
Yeah, for sure. We've still got one game against France left, and a lot of blokes will grow from this back in the NRL competition next year. International football's alive.
Certainly is. Well done, Rich.